Okay, we are 6 weeks out. This week is built largely around the race simulation. The race simulation, it's a modified version of the race. Obviously, we don't do the whole distance, but you'll do a fair whack of it because there's so many things that you just won't find out unless you put yourself into a race or simulated race situation. So things like, is your nutrition working? Are you hydrating well? Are the shoes rubbing? Is the bike position comfortable? So many things that you just need to do this simulation to make sure that you don't have the problems that might occur, that they don't occur on race day, so you can solve them. Steve, what's a big one a big tip that you would say to people doing this simulation?
I would say something I didn't do at the start and really refined my nutrition plan in communication with you was weighing in at the start and at the end just to compare what I'd lost in that certain session. And you probably explained it better why we would do it if you wanted to get into it.
Yeah, so I think we always talk about what's your primary limiter in Ironman, and for some people that really holds them back is their quads are just not resilient enough, and their muscle breakdown is too high. For others, it's they can't get the fueling right, so they just end up hyperglycemic and have no energy. And then for many others, it's actually dehydration that's the biggest problem. And so we like to, ideally, athletes do this in somewhat similar conditions to the temperatures they're going to be racing in and work out how much they're losing and whether they're meeting their needs. On the bike, most athletes can actually replace quite closely to what they're losing. So if they're losing 1.5, 2 liters of sweat per hour, they can often put that amount back in and actually start the run at pretty much at the same weight as what they started the bike. On the run, it's much harder. There's going to be a big deficit of what you can take in compared to what you're losing. You're just looking to mitigate that difference a little bit. And by doing these weigh-ins pre and post, you can start to work out, okay, how far can I push the hydration on the run? Some athletes can take in up to 1.5 liters an hour. Other athletes are limited to 800 mil an hour. It's very individual, so you've really got to start to dial it in. At RPG, we do sweat testing too. So we use these sweat rate data and then combine that with, because we find out what people's sodium losses are, and then we can come up with a really accurate plan of the best way for them to stay hydrated throughout the whole race, and actually how to plan their fueling as well, depending on what their sodium losses are, how much they need to drink. And it's a huge part of the simulation day is really understanding whether you're getting that side of it right and not finishing the race simulation run completely dehydrated. Not only so that you are dialing it in better for the race to come, but so you can actually recover better. We don't want this race simulation to take a week to recover from, but it will if you get super dehydrated. So try and get it right, and we can modify after that once you know more data.
Yeah.
The Sunday's pretty much a rest day. You can take that whole day off if you need to. Don't feel like you need to train. There are optional sessions in there, but maybe spend some time with the family, go for a walk with the dog, just chill out. It's very much optional because we're coming up to 5 weeks out. There's still some work to go.